On this episode of Sam Talks, I have with me from England, Dawid Malan, who's had a luscious career for England. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, first thing I do want to mention now, the day you were flying in, we had our first practice, and I was speaking to David Willey, and he mentioned obviously you guys have played a lot together, probably known each other for a long time. He was like, Dawid Malan's pretty grumpy. I don't think so.
No, he's grumpier than I am. He just,
Right?
you know what? He deflects. He deflects a lot.
And-
I
and-
can be grumpy. Grumpy.
Yeah.
I'll put my hand up, but he deflects a lot. Yeah.
And you also have, some South African in you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So born in England, grew up in South Africa,
Yeah.
moved over in 2006 back to the UK. Parents still live in South Africa. Dad's South African, all his family. So, yeah, got a good South African side to me. Yeah.
And they can never be grumpy, right?
Yeah.
for
I think
the
I've got
most-
it from my dad's side.
But, being able to, spend some time in South Africa and England, what's been different, especially in terms of cricket?
Well, I guess, it's two different countries, two different
Yeah.
ways of approaching the game.
Yeah.
I'd say South Africa is very more, I would guess, you work it out for yourself and you find different ways of getting what you need to become the player you want. In England, you've got everything at your disposal. If you
Yeah.
manage to get into a county, you have coaches and facilities that are some of the best in the world. So, I'd guess it's two different cultures from that, but ultimately it's the same goal of getting to the top of the sport and then performing against each other in the international stage.
Now, if we kind of go back in time to your childhood, what kind of got you into cricket?
Oh, my dad was massive into cricket. Still loves it now. Still watches every single game. He played a little bit himself. So he always encouraged my brother and I to have a bat in our hands when we were younger and to play every single sport. Actually, my sister as well. They made us play every single sport that we could and gave us the opportunity to. And then cricket was the one that I found was probably a bit easier than playing rugby or whatever else, tennis or whatever else I was playing. And I guess throughout my journey, he's always been there, my mum as well, but my dad's always been very supportive and helping with my cricket and trying to give me every opportunity I could.
No, that's really special. Now, what subject in school did you not like a lot?
Oh, I hated maths and science with an absolute passion. I got forced to do science as well. I would have loved to do history, but my dad made me do science and I think he regrets making me do science when he saw my grades at the end of each year.
Yeah. Did you get punished at all? Were you a good child or?
I went through stages. So I was probably a goody two-shoes for a while and then it went up and down a bit, but turned out okay, I think.
How did it feel, getting into county cricket? I think, for English cricketers, that's pretty much a stepping stone. And, you had a great career in the counties as well and played for a few.
Yeah, it was a strange story. I came over in a gap year, got given an opportunity for the MCC Young Cricketers, who then recommended me to Middlesex. Middlesex signed me without ever seeing me play. And before I signed the contract, I called the team that I was playing for in South Africa and said, what's the situation here? I'm a bit unsure. And they said, take the opportunity with both hands.
Yeah.
And, I took that opportunity and I haven't looked back. It's been a fantastic journey. Played for Middlesex for quite a long time and for Yorkshire now. Still playing for them and hopefully for a few more years. County cricket's given me so much and it's allowed me to become the person and the player that I am now. And without that, who knows if I would have been able to make it in cricket.
And I think I love county cricket. I've watched, either the 4-day champion, the Vitality Blast, and I just kind of love how the people just enjoy the game so much. I mean, I think that's one game where everyone will come out, they'll have a good time, they love their county cricket. So why do you think it is?
They do, very, very traditional England, especially when it comes to the 4-day stuff. You probably see the same people every year. The older generation come and support that, whereas I guess the younger generation are now supporting the T20 and the 100 and 50 over, whatever else is on. It's great to have that traditional support and people having an affinity with the team. They support their team till the end and you get a lot of grief for it, but also a lot of support for it. And it's a great environment to be part of.
Now, do you think there was a specific season or even a specific match that kind of got you recognized to get into the England squad?
Yeah, I guess... I had my breakthrough year in 2008 and got picked on the England Lions. I had a game, in a T20 game at the Oval. I got 100 in that. Got picked in the England Lions, wasn't qualified for England, unfortunately, then. So fell out of the system and didn't have the best couple of years after that. and then I reckon 2014 is when it all sort of started to fall together. So it's quite a big gap where I would contribute for a little bit and then go missing for a bit, or contribute in just white ball cricket and go missing in red ball, and vice versa. And then from 2014, I managed to find a way to become more consistent in both formats of the game, all three formats of the game, and managed to get into the franchise system. And then, yeah, things just took off from there.
Yeah, and how did it feel making your debut for the T20, especially in that debut performance? I think 78 runs.
Yeah.
So how special was that to kind of finally be able to wear those English colours?
Yeah, brilliant. I think it's your dream as a kid to play international cricket, and then to get that call and to get given the jersey. And my parents came over and they were sitting in the crowd, which made it even more special. Against South Africa as well, which was even brilliant. My dad being South African, so he was a bit torn who was supporting on the day. But yeah, I guess that was, especially for me as a player, a dream come true. You play for England against the country where you grew up in, played against, some of your heroes. AB was playing, and to be able to do it on your debut and score runs and sort of, I would say, welcome yourself to the international scene like that was, a fantastic thing for me.
And I think another special moment was, your maiden Test century, especially in the Ashes. So how was that? I mean, I love watching the Ashes whenever it's there, but kind of, as a player, is the Ashes also something where it's like, okay, performing there is a big deal?
Oh, 100%. Especially as an English and an Australian player, the Ashes is the biggest one you get. We got absolutely hammered in that series. We got 4-0. But yeah, to have scored 100 at Perth, I think that was the last time that England played at Perth as well. So, for me, that was, the highlight of my whole career was a Test 100. It's the hardest thing to do, hardest thing to do to play for England. Well, it was to play for Test cricket for England. And then to score 100 against Australia in an Ashes Test. And the way I did it as well, I didn't think it was a fluke. I thought I played really well that game. And yeah, it was. I still look back at it in a bit of shock and a bit of awe and think, gosh, how did I do that? But yeah, look, it was a fantastic moment. Same thing, parents were in the crowd, family was in the crowd. So yeah, no, it was brilliant.
No, playing 3 formats, playing in franchise cricket all around, winning so many trophies, how have you been able to kind of manage everything, managing the family time, managing the pressures, managing the jet lag?
Yeah, it's been tough. I've got 2 young kids now. Before I had the kids, it felt slightly easier traveling, whereas now it becomes harder. You get on the plane and then 3 days in, you want to be back with the kids and the family. And then luckily these T10s are quite short now, so yeah, you're not away for long periods of time as much. But yeah, traveling's definitely become harder. Trying to work out what to play, when to play. And it's quite tough because you want to commit to everything, and you have to commit to everything for the future of your franchise commitments and moving forward. You want to play in all of them, but then your family is the most important, and trying to be at home with them as much as you can is the challenge. But yeah, I think luckily I'm towards the end of my cricketing. I'm closer towards the end than I am to the beginning. So I guess there's only a few years of hardship and being away from them before they'll probably be sick of me being at home every day. So yeah, it is tough. And I guess that's been the biggest challenge for me the last 3 years, is trying to find that balance with spending time at home and playing these franchises.
Now, recently retiring from international cricket, what's been your favorite memory out of the journey? It's been a long journey, so many special moments. But
yeah, it has. Look, I've been fortunate enough to play 2 Ashes series in Australia, played against India in Test cricket, which is also, one of the highlights, 3 World Cups. But I guess, winning that World Cup in 2022, the only thing that could come close to that would be winning an Ashes, which I didn't come close to. So yeah, I'd say that would be the highlight of my international career, was being part of that team that won the World Cup.
And I was there. I actually interviewed you after the match.
Did you?
Yeah.
Gosh,
so I know, unfortunately, you got injured and couldn't play the playoff games, but it was an incredible moment. And I do want to say, I think you should let the England team know that whenever it's a final, I've been there. So ODI World Cup, I was there. You guys won. So I think could be a lucky charm for England.
I'll call Rob Key and say they need to contact you and make sure you're at big games for England.
But you've had so many records as well. You're the only English player that scored a century in each of the formats and also taken a wicket. And one of the 4 players to have done the century in all the formats. You're also the top I think you're the highest. You got to 1,000 runs in just 24 innings, so that's still there. That record's still there. So pretty great records, in your career though so far.
Yeah, there've been a few good ones.
Yeah.
I think the bowling and the 100 one will be a good quiz test. I don't think many people get that one right in England or maybe around the world, but that will go down well for a pub quiz. But yeah, look, I think records are the things that you look at when you're playing. You don't really notice them too much, but then when you retire and you look at them and you look back at what you've achieved and you look back at those numbers and you go, geez, I've played the same amount of cricket or the same standard as cricket as the best players in the world, the guys that I've idolised, the guys that are still playing and doing so well and are the best players in the world, and to have played against them and done it certain things faster than them is something I'd look back at with extreme fondness. And it's been a phenomenal journey. It's just a shame I didn't get in earlier and was able to do it for another 2 or 3 years longer. But if someone said to me I was going to play 7 years of international cricket, I'd have probably laughed at them a few years ago. So I've taken everything and enjoyed every moment of it.
And kind of, I guess, was that one of the challenges? I mean, as a cricketer, sometimes is that the challenge that you kind of do have to face? Is that sometimes you might be in the team, sometimes not, the injuries and everything that comes along with it? Yeah,
especially I felt for my career, I was always felt like I was playing for a spot, and I was never sure if I was going to be on the next tour or not. Whether that was my own insecurities or just the way it was. Maybe a bit of media pressure and what have you, but I always felt like if I didn't perform the series, I was going to get dropped for the next one, and that destroys you mentally. Like, you spend a lot of time overthinking, you spend a lot of time being very intense in your training and trying to be the best you can be without being able to have that break and that reassurance that you're going to get picked. But yeah, look, that's part of the territory of playing international cricket, and that was part of the reason that I feel I was able to be so consistent and successful in international cricket, that I never took anything for granted, that everything was a last chance for me. And I played that way for 7 years, which eventually took its toll, but it was still something that I'd say without, maybe I wouldn't have scored as many runs as I did.
Now, how much importance do you give to fitness? I mean, I think I've seen you almost every day going to the gym. So what's your routine like, and how much time do you put into it?
Yeah, I try and put a lot of time into it. I know a lot of the boys think I don't, but as you can tell
witness.
them, you can witness that I have been in the gym. But yeah, look, I think especially the older you get, the more you get injuries, the more muscle injuries you have, the fitter you have to be. You're performing against guys that are, I'm probably playing against guys that are 17, 18 years younger than what I am now, and a lot more athletic. So trying to do what you can to still be able to perform at the level that you want to perform at is the key for me. So I have a few routines. I'd say the last 2 years I've probably put more attention into my lower body, my legs and what have you. Try and strengthen them and stop the soft tissue injuries that I have there. But yeah, I'd say the running has become less, more biking, a few more weights. But it's just trying to do what I can to prolong my career.
And how are you enjoying your time here with the Cape Town Sampgroup and playing the Zim Afro?
Yeah, it's been brilliant so far. We're staying in a lovely hotel. The weather's been great. Cricket's been really good. We lost the first game, and then we played really well the last 2 nights. So hopefully we can continue winning, stay here for the knockoffs, and we can win that trophy. Okay,
I have a little bit of blast from the past. We're going to look at some pictures. So obviously this is a debut.
Yeah, so, T20 debut, NASA, yeah.
So what was kind of going through your emotions there?
Yeah, really nervous actually. I'd been in an England squad before and I hadn't got picked. And I remember that occasion getting really big for me. I didn't sleep the night before. And then this series, it was a 4-match series, and I got told I wasn't going to play the first 3 and I was going to play the last one. So I had a bit of time to build up for it and get comfortable in the changing room. So yeah, it was a great moment.
So you knew that
I knew I was going to play. I knew probably a week before that this was the game I was going to play. So I was able to prepare for it. I was able to do my training in the nets, get comfortable around the group, which helped me a lot actually. But yeah, I looked pretty calm there, but I was so nervous, and I was trying my best to
look calm.
to not show it, because one of the things that I believe in international cricket is it's not necessarily how many runs you score initially, it's how you handle the pressure and you go about your business. And I remember Morgan Owen didn't play that game. He left himself out, and maybe that's why I played. I think he left himself out and I got a game there, but he was throwing me balls before and I was hitting them so badly. Like I was off the deck and I was inside edging them, outside edging them. I couldn't hit the ball in the middle, and I was inside. I was like, my gosh, I cannot hit a half volley at the moment. underarm ball, and I'm going to have to face Morne Morkel and whoever else was playing, and I didn't want to show that I was struggling. And then it just clicked on the day. It just worked out, yeah. And I chanced my arm. I think maybe because I hit the ball so badly, I went in with a different mindset that because I'm hitting them badly, I'm just going to see what happens and have a crack at it. And yeah, luckily it all fell into place, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Do you remember any advice you were given by any of the players?
No. Well, enjoy it was one of the things. Enjoy the occasion. I think with that white ball group, I think especially at the time, if you were someone that wasn't backed initially to come in, if you wanted to be part of it and stay part of it, you had to play a certain way. And I think that the way I walked down that innings and played was due to the fact that was what I had to do. And if I knew I only had one chance, and because it was the last game of the series, and if I got 0 or 10 and I hadn't played the way they wanted me to play, I probably wouldn't have got another go. So I chanced my arm a bit and it came off.
Okay. This one.
Yeah, that's the Ashes century. It was only one, so it's the only time I took my helmet off. So can't remember, forget that one. But yeah, that was a brilliant moment. Yeah, Josh Hazlewood bowled me a short ball, and I managed to pull it around the corner for 4. And
now, was that on your mind though? Like, especially when you get to those 90s, is it like?
I got dropped to 93 actually of Stark. Yeah, bowled me one that swung. There'd probably been a period of about maybe 30 or 40 overs where it reversed but hadn't swung. And he took the second new ball, so I tried to clip him through mid-wicket, and I got dropped. I think it was Bancroft at third. It's a tough chance. But as I got to the 90s, I was really nervous. And then luckily that was the only ball that swung. So and I got away with that, and then managed to get over the line, which was good. Yeah, let's get rid of that one. We don't want to see that one. I'm sure that was a sun cream. That was a sun cream one. Yeah, let's forget about that one.
Was that a shoot though?
That was a shoot. Yeah. That was a shoot. Yeah. I was there. I did half an IPL. It got cancelled because of COVID.
Yeah.
But I think I did more shoots than I did training sessions, and I only played one game. So yeah, they got their money's worth from me there.
This one.
Yeah, World Cup. You were there, as you said. But yeah, it was. Brilliant
day. It was a
day.
good game too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a close one.
It was. Well, it was one of the best but the worst days of my career as well. Like being injured in one of the knockouts, missing the semi-final and the final. So like really tough day from a personal point of view not to be able to play, but then from a team point of view to have won that, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah.
And I think this.
Yeah, that was World Cup against Bangladesh at Dharamshala, I think it was. One of the best, nicest grounds I've ever played on. Like I can remember I fielded on the one side of the boundary overlooking the Himalayas, and I think it's the Himalayas, but could be wrong. Just correct that if it is, but it's the mountain range that was there. You can edit that out, but it was absolutely stunning. The snow on the mountains. And that was our second game in the World Cup, and I think about 140. And Ruti played really well. I don't know why he's not wearing socks there. He needs to get some socks on there, but but that was good as well, considering we lost the first game so badly, and then to put in a performance like that to get us back on track. I know we didn't end up having a great tournament as a group, but it sort of got us back on track a little bit.
And any special memory you have with Root that you can talk about? With Root?
Yeah, I played a lot of cricket for Yorkshire now and for England with Joe. He's by far the best cricketer I've ever played with. Just in terms of consistency, the way he scores runs everywhere in the world. His record has been so phenomenal. So I think there's too many if I was to go into it, but yeah, I guess he just always scores runs. And I remember my first year of playing Test cricket. I think he got a 50 in every single Test match for about 15 or 20 Test matches, something stupid like that. And he just made it look so easy. And I was standing on the other end, just playing and missing every ball and nicking them to everyone. And just remember watching him, thinking he makes the game look so easy.
Okay, now we're just going to do a quick rapid fire. So beyond cricket, favorite food?
Steak.
Okay. One place you'd love to visit?
Maldives.
Okay. One thing you can cook?
Spaghetti bolognese.
Are you good in the kitchen?
No.
No. No. Favorite place in England?
I would say up where I live now, actually, near Harrogate, York, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Secret talents?
Zero.
Zero?
Zero secret talents.
Come on.
No, I've got none. No, I'm not good at anything.
Favorite movie?
Oh, that's a tough one. It changes week to week.
What is it this week?
Do you know what? I haven't watched a movie this week. I watched Civil War recently.
Okay.
About a civil war in America or something.
So you like
and I really enjoyed
your
that.
history.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess.
I think it was more, I wouldn't say a spoof, but it was more of a president that takes over in America, and then there's a civil war, like a modern civil war.
Okay.
It was actually really good.
Yeah? Okay. This or that, iced coffee or hot coffee?
Hot coffee.
Okay. New clothes or new phone?
New clothes.
Call or text?
Oh, my wife will probably say I annoy her at both, but I would say probably call.
Ice cream in a cup or ice cream in a cone?
Cup.
Okay. Driver or passenger seat?
Driver.
Okay. Crick fires, have you ever prank called another cricketer or just pranked?
No.
Have you ever gotten pranked on?
Yes, David Nash, Middlesex player, used to prank me quite often.
Oh.
But I always used to hear his giggle at the end and then realise that I'd been pranked.
It's pranked, okay. What's the usual thing you often forget whenever you're touring?
Shaver. I reckon I've got about 30 shavers at home, electric shavers. Or if I get the charger and I have to go and buy another one, and then, terrible.
Okay. If you could change one thing about cricket, what would it be?
If you don't bowl, you don't have to field. There we go.
Not a bad rule to have. Favorite moments traveling on a tour? Or maybe the opposite. Maybe like, something that's happened while traveling on a tour, whether it's missing a flight or something.
Yeah, well, this trip here, I landed in Amsterdam and my connecting flight had already taken off, so I had to spend a night in Amsterdam, and then.
That's not too bad. Amsterdam's.
Well,
I guess when you want to get here.
I got to the hotel at 11 o'clock, and then had to be at the hotel at 5 a.m. the next morning again. So and then had to go to Paris, and then to Nairobi, and then to Lusaka, and then here. So it was a long day.
You had a
I had
traveled all over.
Yeah. So that would be the hardest bit about the traveling, I would say, is the flights.
A memory with a teammate. So whether it's for England or any other.
Yeah, I would actually say with the teammates, actually celebrating that 2022 World Cup was in the changing
special.
room. Special.
I think especially because most of the families were there. And
honestly, special. Just being in the changing room with a bunch of guys that you've just achieved something special with. Yeah.
And last question, a ground that you've played or your favorite ground to play cricket at?
You know what? I've thought about that quite a lot in my life, and it changes or I add, but I would say
top three.
So I would say Newlands in Cape Town. I would say Dharmashala is up there from the look of it and the way it is, and I would say from a cricketing point of view, Perth, the old Perth would have been. Yeah. And that's obviously a bit harsh on Lords and the Oval and places like that, which are phenomenal stadiums. But these are some stadiums I've only played once at, and they're phenomenal.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dawid Malan, for joining us and giving us your time. Thank you.
Thank you.